Welcome back, our viewer. Yes, remember this is Faraja Swift Chat. With us, Jeffries and Abby. We are always here to talk about these interactive topics. And today we are talking about mental health. It affects me, it affects you. So it's high time we received it, and we thought of the best action we can take to help the whole society. Now, to send in your comment, remember you're interacting with us on our Facebook page, that is Faraja TV Kenya, and on our YouTube page, that is Faraja TV Media. Also, you can engage us either with your call. You can also engage us with an SMS or a WhatsApp message on this number 0703 339959. And we are ready to incorporate your ideas, and we are ready to share what you have said about mental health, because it affects all of us.
Sure.
Yes. So I really wanted us to check if, for example, are we receiving the best support in the society? Can we say we are receiving the best support, especially from the support groups, the government, and also the hospitals that we have? When someone goes to the hospital and says, like, mi naonaka nina shida ya akili, or you are identified as someone with those mental issues, this support from the support groups, the government, and the hospital, are they enough?
So there is support, but not to the extent that we need it to be there. But we are doing quite well in terms of, when I go to hospitals today, I find counseling department. I never used to see that some time back. And so you see a doctor referring a patient to the counseling department when the doctor realizes that whatever this patient is going through is more of mental related, psychological related. I remember this lady whose mom had an issue with taking some kinds of food. And then the doctor told the lady, your mom actually doesn't have an issue, it's all mental. And so the doctor gave this lady, actually they went and bought some kinds of sweets, and they would give her, and she became well. It was all mental. So the level of support is increasing, but it needs to grow. Support groups, yes, they are there, but not well known to people. So they need to shout out more so that people will get to know about them. And the government, more funding needs to be done. A lot of this funding is not, you go to the counties, they don't have those real facilities to address mental health issues. It's not like seen as a critical thing that needs to be addressed. So the support is increasing. We are not where we are some time back, but there is still a lot of room for growth. Yeah.
When we check our hospitals, you've identified yourself that you need this help.
Yeah.
You've gone to the hospital. Maybe if we check our local hospitals, do we get this support from the hospital?
Yeah, some yes, and some no. Because I have seen, as I've said, I've seen counseling in some hospitals, but mostly private. I've also seen, like in the general hospital here in Nakuru, one of my friends who is a counselor goes to counsel with patients there. So that means somebody is concerned, and that's a public hospital. So that help is slowly coming up. But then it needs to increase, because sometimes people go to hospital, and some doctors are really very good when they realize that the problem this person is having, as I deal with it medically, this person needs to also deal with it from a mental health perspective. They tend to refer you. So these are, the kind of doctors who are conscious about the holistic well-being of their patient. One doctor told me once that my work as a doctor, when you come here and say I have a toothache, I may end up treating your leg, because my work is to make sure you are all treated, not just the tooth you talked about. So you may come and your main concern is a toothache, but I realize you have a flu. I realize your foot has an issue. I realize something about your mental health has an issue. So some doctors are really good and they do that. And I would encourage more doctors to handle it from that perspective. Yeah.
And can we say that we really need a lot of shouting from these support groups? Like, for example, we only celebrate this event once a year.
Yeah.
Like, for example, this year, 2025, it's just 1 week, 7 days,
Yes.
and we'll forget about it the whole year.
Yeah.
Can we say that we need a lot of shouting from these support groups so that we can do it even oftenly than it is done?
Yes. But you see, like currently, I think almost all of us know a human rights activist, because they have really shouted of late. We are aware of these bodies that exist, and an issue happens even in the rurals. You will see human rights activists go there. And so even in the mental health space, a lot of shouting from the support groups, from us who are in this field, need to talk about it. Like, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. What are we planning to do? What are we going to engage people in so that they are more aware? I was talking to a friend who is actually in a very influential space, and I was asking her, what are you going to do this month? Will you let it pass? Because we have so many awareness months.
Yeah.
A lot of awareness happens almost every other month.
Yeah.
And so these two needs to be brought, but then we need to take it even to the grassroots, to the villages, so that it's not just in the urbans.
Yeah.
It's right down there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now, for example, I want us to look at different generations, because right now, we've seen that everything has been taken up by the Gen Zs.
Yeah.
And as we checked the age groups that are affected, we've seen that every age group is affected when it comes to mental health.
Yeah.
So you find that some people go to an extent to hide what they are going through, because you find that the communication between these age groups is different.
Yeah.
So maybe the Gen Z, someone who is affected, will feel like, this is my parent, because anabelong maybe huko kwa baby boomers. Hanisikizi, hanielewi. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm really trying to explain myself. Maybe something happened to this person.
Yeah.
But they feel the kind of communication they're bringing out, the parent is not getting, or the guardian is not getting. So maybe in return, they hide, or they choose just to block you.
Yeah.
Because as they explain, wewe unaleta the wrong angle. So instead they explain further and then they continue kuumia.
Yeah.
So how do we bring a bridge between the generations? Like, for us, what una communicate hivi, mtuelewe tu, right?
Yeah.
For you, this was the communication, tuwaelewe tu. So how do we bridge these age groups from the Gen Zs and the other later generations?
It reminds me of one conference that we had that really addressed those differences. And as we ended, so we had samples from baby boomers, millennials, Gen X, and the Gen Zs, all of them saying what they feel about the other generation. And at the end, I like what they said. The baby boomers told the Gen Zs and the rest, please understand us. We are coming from a certain space. Yeah. That's why we are who we are. The millennials the same, the Gen Zs the same, and they shook hands. Yeah. So Gen Zs complain of not being understood. And millennials and Gen X are saying these people are stubborn. Yeah. Yet it's just the generational gap. And so we find Gen Zs now resorting to even blocking. You're not understanding me, so stay away. I'm protecting my mental space. Sometimes it helps.
Because you find them wako very strict with their decisions. Nitakublock and there is nothing you can do. And you find huyu mtu kweli ana shida, it's supposed to be addressed. Akiblock kila mtu, bado anaumia.
You know, my father used to say that where I'm seeing seated on a stool, even if you go up a tree, you won't see. So all generations may need counsel from an older generation. So blocking is not a solution. We need to just enhance the communication and be able to talk. Like when I'm talking to my son, I need to understand where he's coming from.
Yes.
When he's saying this, there is a time we had an exercise, parents and the learners. My son is in grade 8 now, and they were writing things we were not to see. And they wrote their grievances down, and all of us were jaw dropped, like, what? This is what they are saying, we don't understand them and all that. They want phones, they want, as we are thinking, why should I give you a phone right now?
I was not given.
Yes, so, and it's our way of loving and protecting them. But then, Gen Zs also need to know that in their shutting out the other generations, they need to be careful, not because then we are seeing suicide.
Yes.
And that's now shutting out the wrong way. If you shut your parent down, what's your alternative? Seek an alternative. Seek help. Don't shut to that space where now you are alone, dying alone. At least make sure you're seeking help. To we who are older, then we need to study and understand these generational gaps and know that being in the generations that we are is not just a problem, it's a blessing. And then we embrace it and address it as it is. So that way we will have constructive conversations on the subject mental health and on any other subject. Yeah.
So maybe we can check, at this point we can check how is the reception of mental health issues locally and globally, because you find in the West countries, maybe there is exposure and all, I may say just exposure, because some of us, okay, not some of us, our undeveloped countries, we've started coping there, everything we want to do like them, but you find that the resources are very little. On our end, we don't have the best resources as they are. So the reception on our end and the global end, how is it?
We are growing.
Yes.
We are really growing. We are not where we are some time back. Because right now you will hear people talk about this. People talk about mental health. But there is still a lot to be done. For example, I talked to a friend who I was, as we were talking, now me being a coach, we pointed out that she needed help. And so she told me that in the UK, the insurance cover actually covers therapy. Do we have that in Kenya?
No.
No, we don't have. So you see, and it's not cheap. You know, seeking therapy is not cheap, depending on where you go and what you're exposed to. So that is something we have not grown to. In the West, people tend to talk about it. Even celebrities, when they are going through an issue, they talk about it openly. And so somebody else also feels if she can talk about it, if he can talk about it, then I can talk about it. Here, we see the opposite. We only hear somebody had a mental health issue. We've seen it with comedians, for example. When they are dying, then you hear that person has been having this issue, they've been stressed, they have undergone divorce. So there is an issue because why do we wait for it to get there, for it to be, for light to be shed on it? And so we are not at the point where we need to be, but then to a large extent we are getting there. We are now beginning to talk about it. People are now more comfortable seeking the help, not as we were some time back. Yeah.
Now, for me, I want us to narrow down to the society today. I don't know kama ni watu wameharden roho. I don't know if we've seen so much bad things until now hatuna hiyo conscious ama hatuna ile kushtuka. I want to cite an example. Like we were in a bus, like 60 people.
Yeah.
And there was a lady with a young child less than a year. She was ahead of me. And then we happened to be delayed somewhere because of vehicle ilikuwa na their road challenges. And this lady just faints. You see?
Yeah.
She just fainted na akatupa huko mtoto. So what we did, we collected the child. And now the driver and the conductor are not in. Don't forget basi imesimamishwa. There was some checkup or something, but it took very long.
Yeah.
So everyone in the bus, I've said a bus of almost 60. Kila mtu anasema tuendelee na hii safari. This is a fainted. For me, I had sought some help. Yeah. I know of people who knows how to do first aid. So I was calling and instructing people to do. I was calling and instructing people to do. She did not wake up. So for me, I was worried at the point where it had reached. But some people are just relaxed on their chairs. Kuna wale by there hawakuamka. People are just relaxed.
Mind your own business.
They are waiting for the driver so that we continue with this journey. So for me, I had to go down. Nimtafute tu. Nimwambie like there is some emergency huku ndani. Whatever you guys are sorting down here. Can we move forward or go back and seek a hospital? Mutarudi musort baadaye, polisi hawahami nyinyi hamwa. The bus is always on the road, right? But people were like blocking me. You cannot say we are going to seek a hospital and we have safari ya kumaliza. Then my question was, where are we going to take this child once this lady refuses to wake up? Hatujajua shida yake ni gani. Ilibidi among all those people nitoe sauti na nikuwe mkali. Then I told driver, kama ni mbele, you're seeking an hospital. The next hospital we are getting to, huko ndo tutaingia all of us. If you're going back, so where we are, a hospital from here, ni nyuma rahisi ama ni mbele? So aliamua kusonga mbele. And it's like, nikawaambia, let us go all of us. Because supposed tumefika where we are going. We are all going to alight. There is this lady who is fainted. The child is very vulnerable. Who do we leave the child with? Take the child to the police. Police atakupea mandate ya kutake care of that child. Na kwanza utaacha details zako. Because they will seek for that child. They know Abby went with that child. So that's a mandate that you did not have. But people really complained. And I was left with a question. Is it that the society imekuwa used to a lot of bad things until now hatushtuki maisha ya watu? Because when we went to the hospital, Abby, I tell you the truth, this lady was not sick.
Wow.
When we go to the hospital, tuliingia wote. Actually tulishuka wote because basi ili drive into the hospital. And then this lady, to a few people like 5 wakaingia naye kwa daktari. I was one of them. Daktari akamweka hapo kwa curtain and then they are examining. Alituambia tu hapa hakuna ugonjwa. She's not sick. But there is some psychological things to be taken care of. Umeelewa? So away from that, mnaendelea na safari, she needs to go seek that attention. How many of us really do that?
You see, that's let me first commend you for doing that, because not many people would do that. Many people would just say, let's continue. And when I was young, there was this epileptic person who used to come faint, and we would be told, don't touch him. You will contract the epilepsy. And he would be left to struggle until he woke up. So that's really commendable. And I think we need to be careful not to lose humanity, because life is more important than any other thing that would come up. And so that was a great thing. So people need to know that when somebody is going through a mental health issue, let's give it attention. Let's try to help. Let's seek help. because we are quick to give solutions and help, and even do fundraisers for physical health. Somebody has cancer, we will mobilize everybody. Somebody has, any lifestyle disease,
liver failure.
Yeah, we will mobilize funds. But I am yet to see any for mental health. And so this is something that people need to know, that it's also important. We need our mental health to be okay for us to function well. We need it to have strong relationships, to be good parents in our workplaces. Our mental health is so key. And now look at this lady. She has a mental health issue. It's affecting her physical health.
Yes.
So we need to address it, knowing that it can actually trickle down to affect other areas of our lives. Yeah, so we need to check on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel all of us should now learn. We should just learn, because we say the aim of this show is to learn.
Yeah.
Let us all just learn and relearn again. Let us unlearn those old habits.
True.
That huyu mtu ukimguza atakuambukiza. Ananiambukiza nini sasa? And then you find that we try to check the relations of that lady from the phone, so that we see there is a history of falling down. You call the husband, and the husband is like, mumwache tu, how is my child? The first question he asked us, how is my child? Because the child is less than 1 year.
Yeah.
So he asked us, how is my child? And we are like, we are telling you your wife is fainted, but you're jumping to the child beyond your own wife. Minus this wife, you could not have got that child.
Yeah.
I don't say the child is less important.
Yeah.
They are all important. But he never gave us any support when it came to the wife. Now, the someone who gave us the history, medical history of the woman, now is the mother. Now you see.
Yeah.
So this means you can live in a house with someone who knows that you really need support, and they will deny you that support.
True.
Where are we going as a country? Where are we going as a society?
True.
How are we really helping one another?
Yeah.
This is someone with you every day, because your life partner, remember hapo the behind episodes we've been talking about partners and relationships. This is someone who wakes up with you every day, but they are less concerned about your well-being.
Yeah.
So I think this time of May, as we lobby for awareness when it comes to mental health, we should all embrace the learning of it, to understand and to create the correct awareness. And before maybe we conclude this episode, I want you to give a parting shot to our audience. In a nutshell, what are they supposed to understand now, in simple terms, about mental health?
Let me say, now when we are doing the Mental Health Awareness Month, we are shedding light on this. We are calling on people to focus and consciously begin to think about mental health. And so we talked about people withdrawing. So when you see somebody who has been okay, but all of a sudden this person is withdrawing, this person is taking substance abuse. You know, that's a way of coping with stress. So for people who don't cope with stress positively, you see a child who begins to lock themselves, yet they were not doing that. You need to ask what exactly is happening. It could be emotional, it could be psychological, social. It could be a person who just loses motivation in what they have been doing. They now don't want to go to work anymore, yet they've been going to work consistently. Then you need to ask yourself what is happening. Before labeling this person as lazy, before labeling them as, weak, let's, evaluate. Would it be they are going through a mental difficulty that needs to be addressed? And then let us know that mental health, it's something we all have, just like physical health. So you can be in a vibrant mental health state, or it could be affected, and all of us are prone. So we need to be to know that it's okay to seek help.
Yeah, I'll say thank you to our life coach for today's episode, but I'll still put emphasis on all of us, like as we embrace this month of May, is the mental health awareness month.
Yeah.
Kindly, can we do it with some even awareness, even on ourselves of what we are doing?
True.
Because we
True.
call it awareness, and sometimes we are not aware.
Yeah.
We carry all those placards
Yeah.
on the road the whole day, but actually some of us don't recognize what we are doing.
Yes.
So this is my plea to the society, because actually we are just looking for a healthy society. What I'll urge everyone as we embrace this month, kindly, can we carry those placards with some awareness that what I'm doing, I'm trying to find solution for myself and the next person. Because if I'm okay and the next person is not okay, then I'm nothing. Right?
Yeah.
Because that is the person who is going to influence me. If you're okay and I'm not, Abby, you're not also in a safe space.
Yes.
So can we create a safe space for all of us?
Yeah.
And to our audience, I just hope they've learned. I hope you've learned, and you've picked something that is going to improve yourself. And now from us up to the next episode, I hope maybe we can have someone who is going to explain to us what they went through. Because as we lobby, there is something we need to tell the audience.
True.
We are lobbying because we need 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So I hope for the next episode we are able to now tell our people, as we lobby, this is what we are seeking. And now from us, for the interest of time, I want to say thank you for everyone who have listened, and thank you for everyone who is going to watch this episode. I know it's going to change someone, and it is going to improve the society. And now from us, let me just say thank you, and it is bye-bye.
Bye.